up and fight. Just don't let them use your child as a pawn, because they don't give 2 cents about your child. The teachers' unions don't care about your child. All they care about is their members. All they care about is money. They don't care about your children's health. And then they're trying to teach us sex ed nonsense. Multiple genders. Well, I'm a farmer. There's a cow and there's a bull. No more, no less. That's how God intended it, and that's what we need to stand up for. You know, there was a backpack bill. It's been introduced into legislation, but it hasn't went anywhere yet. We need to get that backpack bill passed in the state of Ohio. What it does, it sets up a savings account for your child. If your child's in the public school, that public money is there. If you take your child out of public school and send them over here to private school, Christian school, charter school, whatever, guess what? That money moves with that child. Now your public school has become a business. If they keep indoctrinating your children and you remove your children from that public school, guess what? The public school dies. And it should. If they're going to indoctrinate your children, it needs to die. How come we're not teaching civics anymore? How come we're not teaching American history? How come we're not saying the Lord's Prayer in school? How come we're not teaching what that flag means? That's why we have so much disrespect in the street. They burn that flag, they stomp on it, and they have no regard for what that flag means. Every child in this state should be taught to revere that flag, what it means. They should know the men and women who have died to have that flag fly. It means something to me. You know, when they say the Pledge of Allegiance, when they sing the Star Spangled Banner, buddy, I get goosebumps. Because I'll fight and die for that flag. And we should be teaching that. Amen. Man, all I can say, I'm just a farmer. I'm not a politician, never have been. I've never held any public seat, ever. But this state is worth fighting for. This state is worth dying for. And I have to inspire people. I got to inspire people to get involved. Let's do this. Let's get involved. Let's talk to everybody. Let's show the establishment that we don't care how much power they have. We don't care how much money they have. We're taking back our state. You know, we see this nonsense last year, the defunding of police. You know, one big reason that we pay taxes to have safe communities. Down there in Columbus, we're 25 minutes out of downtown Columbus, so many CPD, many Franklin County sheriffs come out to my restaurant. So I have a lot of good conversations with these folks because I support them. When they were burning and looting and tearing up downtown Columbus last year, I had all the flags on my front fence. The blue line flag, the red line flag, the yellow line flag. I support all of our first responders, and I'm very vocal about it. I don't care if you don't come to my business. At the end of the day, I'm going to stand up for what's right, what's righteous, what's godly. Money is not a motivator to me. It never has been. I can always make a living, whether it's in Ohio or South Dakota. And by gosh, if this state goes down the tube, that's where I'm living, South Dakota, because it's still a free state. You know, I tell these first responders that, you know what, you get me elected, I'm going to stand up for you. You know, the looting and the rioting and all this nonsense starts in these big metropolitan areas. I'm just going to call the local mayor. I'm going to say, you got 5 hours to clean this mess up. If you do not clean this up in the next 5 hours, I'll be sending in the National Guard and I will clean it up. The buck does not stop with the local mayor. The buck stops with the governor. But the governor sat back and he said it's their right to protest. He told the state troopers to stand down while these people tore up our state house, the people's house. That has to stop. And we need to hold these people accountable, whether it's the mayors or the judges. The judges political pander to their side of the aisle for their political gain. They took an oath of office when they took that position. We need to hold them accountable. You know, we sent these officers, they do their job, they arrest people, and in about the last 3 months, a judge down there said, Joe, they arrested 2 murder suspects in Columbus. They filed them, put them into the system, and the judge let them out within 24 hours, and they had to pay a $100 bond. And they're back out on the street. It's run amok. I had a meeting up here in Lisbon, Ohio, the night before last. A gentleman works in the local corrections, in the local prison. He said, Joe, currently we have the smallest population in the prison that we've had in years. The smallest. You know, the media will tell you that the prisons are, they're overcrowded. We can't handle everybody. And that's what I thought was happening. This gentleman said, no, it's not true. Because I told him, I said, you know what? Prison should not be comfortable. It should be uncomfortable. I said, you know what? If we don't have enough room, we should have bunk beds. I asked him, I said, how high is the ceiling in those cells? I said, can we double it up, triple it up, quadruple? I said, we should stuff them in there like little rats. They should be uncomfortable. They shouldn't have a gym. They should be out there working during the day, digging holes, picking up trash, doing stuff that they don't want to do. Because if we're making it comfortable for them, guess what? They don't think twice about going back there. So it should be the worst thing on earth when you go into prison. I'm tired of we got to be sensitive for everything. And this started down the pike, about 10, 15 years ago? If Johnny comes in first, Johnny gets a trophy. Well, if Johnny comes in 35th, well, Johnny still gets a trophy. Guess what, folks? If Johnny comes in 35th, Johnny's a loser. He shouldn't get no trophy. Maybe if Johnny's a loser today, that'll give him some incentive to work hard to be a winner tomorrow. But if we don't tell him he's a loser, he has no incentive. He's never going to better himself. That's the society we live in today. Many people around this state, they're just sitting around on the government dole. Just give it to me. I got my hand out. Just give it to me. If there's no incentive for them to get out of that way of life, they're not going to. We can do that. The governor has the power to do that here in Ohio. All the free money needs to be gone. Generational welfare, gone. You know what? If the money's not there, guess what? They won't live here in Ohio. They'll move to places like New York, Chicago, Oregon, California. You know what? If you want to live on the government dole, that's where you should live, not in Ohio. Because workers like us, middle class, and that's all I am. I'm a middle class, blue-collar worker. I'm tired of working 7 days a week for the people who don't want to work. If you don't have a job today, it's because you don't want a job. Because you can throw a stone, and there's jobs everywhere around this state. Everywhere. I had people come up to me and he said, Joe, we got laid off, COVID, yada, yada, and I can't find a job that paid me what I was getting paid yesterday. Well, then go get 2 jobs. That's what I've always done all through my life. If one job don't pay great, then get 2 jobs so you can pay the bills. It's hard. We need to make big changes in this state. Not little changes, big changes. We need to strip the power away from our politicians. We need to bring the power back to the people where it belongs. These people work for us. We don't work for them. You know, as Joanna said, you know, the human trafficking throughout this state, nobody's talking about it. Not the media, not the politicians. I believe that's because they're involved in it. Through the CPS system. We need to call it out. We need it to end. We'll put a task force together. We'll work with our local county sheriffs to clean the mess up. That's what needs to be done. And we need to get rid of sanctuary cities. If you want to operate a sanctuary city, the first thing I'm going to do is call the local mayor and put you on notice. If you want to operate a sanctuary city, guess what? We are removing all state monies from your city. That might give them a little incentive to clean their mess up. In these sanctuary cities, there's an epidemic of opioid overdoses, opioid deaths, human trafficking, and the drug cartels are flushing millions of dollars of drugs into these cities. It's gonna have to be fixed from the top. These mayors, these liberal town councils, they're not going to clean this up. It's just going to keep on. It's going to get worse. So it has to come from the governor. The governor we have right now is not going to make this happen. We have to have somebody go into that seat that's not worrying about getting re-elected. Folks, I'm not looking for a career political job. I'm looking for you to hire me, and I'm just going to be your employee. I'm going to go down there and clean the mess up, do things that need to be done, and then, by gosh, I'll just let you run the next time. I'll go back to my farm and feed cows, because that's what I like to do. I don't like politics. I don't like politicians. I'm doing this out of necessity, because it has to be done. I prayed, last December, I prayed to God, please bring me somebody, a good God-fearing man or woman that would jump into this governor's race that I could get behind. I could work hard to get them elected. I must have said that prayer a dozen times, folks. And that weight kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier on my back. I knew what God was doing. I don't know why he picked me. I wish he wouldn't have. But here I am. He knows I'm a fighter. He knows that I'll put 150% in this. He knows that no other candidate will work as hard as me. I'm on the road 7 days a week with my wife. We're going around to every single county. Many counties several times. Because that's what it's going to take to win this. And we can't do it alone. We need every single one of you to be an extension of my voice. You have to be talking in every circle you're in. Whether it's at school, the gym, the hair salon, at the gas station, everywhere. That's how a grassroots campaign is successful. Don't let anybody tell you, here's what politicians are going to tell you. Oh, you're going to split the vote. Oh, you're going to make DeWine get reelected again. Nonsense. That's just a tactic that they're using. I've had strategists call me. I've had political lobbyists call me. Heck, I even had Jim Renacci call me. He said, Joe, what are you doing? I said, what's it look like I'm doing? He said, you can't do this. I said, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm a business guy. I know how to balance a checkbook. I said, I know how to put teams of people together to be successful. I said, Jim, do you have a political campaign manager? He said, yes. I said, does he get out there and does he go around and actually talk to people? He said, yes. I said, Jim, you need to fire that guy. He said, well, what do you mean, Joe? I said, if he's going out there and he's talking to the people, I guarantee, are telling him that we don't want another politician. He said, Joe, I'm not a politician. I said, you sure as heck are, Jim. You've been in Washington. You're a politician. You know, Jim Renacci is just DeWine 2.0.
Bingo.
That's all he is. He voted for stricter background checks for your guns. He voted for transgender rights. He doesn't mind that a 40-year-old burly man goes into the bathroom with your 10-year-old daughter. I got a problem with that. It's
Absolutely.
not happening under my watch.
Amen.
You know, I'm just a common sense guy. Salt of the earth kind of guy. And I'm a fighter. I'm like all you people. I'm a patriot. And I'll wear that badge with pride. You know, they try to step on our gun rights. This little tyrant in Columbus, he tried to hide a red flag law in the last proposed budget. He's a sneaky little guy. I'm going to stand up for your rights. We need to make this state a Second Amendment sanctuary state constitutional carry. Period.
That's it.
Our gun laws don't work for us. You know, you get in your car, you can have a gun on you, but by gosh, you better not have any bullets in it. They better be locked up in the glove compartment. Nonsense. The bad guys, you think they're doing that? No. We live in a bad world these days. We need to be able to protect ourselves. We need to be able to protect our families and our communities. You know, in Washington right now, they're trying to pass gun legislation. You got to have a permit for a military-style gun, permit for an antique-style gun, $800 registration fee, and a psychological evaluation. All I can say is, are they gonna send a psychologist to my farm to do this, or how exactly is this going to work? I can just imagine the first thing that psychologist is going to do is go to my social media page. Going to look at that. Oh, Joe, looks like you love God. That's right. Joe, looks like you love the flag. You're right again. Oh, Joe, looks like you're a patriot. Bingo. Well, Joe, we regret to inform you, you're a terrorist and you're a racist, and we're not giving you a gun. Folks, if you don't think that can happen in today's society, you got your blinders on. 3 weeks ago, right out in front of a camera, the White House press secretary said, we are working with the social media platforms to make sure there is no untruth being posted. That is communist China, man. Who's deciding what's true and what's not? Do they even know what our First Amendment rights are?
They don't care.
They don't care.
That's absolutely right. They don't care. And guess what? That's why we need to be fighting. Our First Amendment rights allows us to say the most heinous things whenever about whatever. Whether you like it or not, and that's the way it should be. We shouldn't be censoring anything. Nothing. When the government starts censoring and then they decide what's right and wrong, we're going down the wrong path, folks, and it's not going to be good. They're trying to cancel out conservatism. They're trying to cancel out Christianity. They're not doing it on my watch. I will die for this state and this country. How many veterans we have here? I truly appreciate you. I thank you for what you've done for our country, and I apologize. You know, our veterans fought for us on foreign soil. so we can have what we have here in this country. And guess what? We let them down because we weren't paying attention, because we didn't get involved. Now what they fought for is at our doorstep. It's here now. We need to slam the door shut. We need to fight. Everything that they fought for overseas, we have to fight in our local community now. So we better get involved. You know what? They're trying to step on our health rights. HB 248 is going on right now down in Columbus. You need to make sure that your representative supports that bill. No mandatory vaccines, no mandatory vaccine passports. Period. Nobody should be telling you to put a mask on, to get a jab, ever. You decide. You want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You want to get a vaccine, get a vaccine. It's your choice. Matter of fact, you can have my vaccine because I will not be using it. God gave us this great thing. It's called immune system. I'm a farmer. Whether I'm raising cattle, whether I'm planting corn, beans, the right fertilizer, the right pH level, the right feed, you put that into livestock or your plants, and they'll flourish. Our body's the same way. I knew last year when the CDC came out and they said, doctors, you cannot off-prescribe hydroxychloroquine for the treatment of COVID. A proven pharmaceutical that's been sold over the counter for decades in third world countries. And it's proven. People take that every week. No side effects, no harm, no nothing. It's proven. Why? Because it's not about a virus. This is about control. Control of you, control of your life, and to draw that line right down the center of society. I don't know if you're into history, but you need to read about Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin. You need to read how they were so successful in dividing society. We always wondered, how in the heck the Holocaust happened? What did they say to those folks to make them walk that path, get on those cattle cars, and go to their death? What did they tell them? We know what they told them, because it's happening right here in this country every single day. And now they're pushing the jab for your children. Save your children. Nobody's going to save your children. Nobody's going to fight for your children except you and, of course, me. I'm going to fight for your children. They don't need that. The death rate of children 0 to 17 regarding this virus, 0.0003. It's non-existent. They don't need that. They don't need that vaccine. It's no good. I don't care. And folks, you know, the media down in Columbus, they're calling me a conspiracy theorist. A tin hat. That's all right. I'll wear that badge. That means I'm telling the truth. And we got to stand up and tell the truth. Who cares if they call you a name? It is what it is. Stand up. Be loud. Talk to everybody in your community. Try to educate them. These drugs are proven. They can eradicate COVID. It's a virus. But glory, hallelujah. Last year we cured the flu. Wow, amazing. You know, let's just talk about two last things here. Our budget. Anybody in here like to pay taxes? Because I sure as heck don't. You know, we need to change our tax structure in this state in a big way. Not a little Band-Aid like these politicians do. They want to put a Band-Aid on everything. So So it feels like, oh, maybe they're doing something. They're not doing anything. They're propping them up. Pay to play, backroom deals. We have 11.5 million people in this state. We have a $70+ billion budget, but at the end of the day, we spend over $140 billion. I'm not sure. They keep on saying that they balance the budget. I don't know. Maybe they're using some of that Common Core fuzzy math. No idea. We need to make big changes in this state. Big changes that'll work for the middle class. Because guess what? The people on the bottom don't pay taxes. The people on the top, they have teams of lawyers and CPAs. They get around paying taxes. So who pays the brunt of the taxes? The middle class. I think taxes should be from bottom to top. Everybody should pay their fair share. So what we need to do in this state is go to a flat consumption tax. Sorry. A flat consumption tax. The more you buy, the more taxes you pay. The less you buy, the less taxes you pay. And you don't pay no more property tax. You know, many senior citizens, they work their whole life, they pay their house off, they're on a fixed income, but by gosh, the taxes go up and they have to figure out how to pay the taxes, because if they don't, they're taking away your property. It's nonsense. You work hard to pay for your property. It should be your property, and nobody should be taking your property. That's what we need to get to. If we can spread the tax up from bottom to top, we'll be in a better situation. That needs done. We need to push our legislators to get that done. Last but not least, I'm a Baptist kid. Matter of fact, I grew up just north of here, right up Route 7. I was born in East Liverpool, and from 0 to 15 years old, I lived outside of Wellsville, a little spot in the road called West Point. Went to Beaver Local till I was a freshman in high school. You know, I had a good upbringing. Baptist kid, church every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, youth group, church camp during the summer. I know what's right and wrong. And the Republican default when it comes to abortion, they say, well, I'm pro-life. I always say, what's pro-life? You know, pro-life sounds like a great word. I'm pro-life. I'm fighting for the unborn. Well, here's what pro-life means, folks. Pro-life is allowing the termination of 23,000 plus unborn children to be terminated in this state on an annual basis. I can't be that. I'm a draw a line in the sand kind of guy. I'm not a fence rider. We need to abolish abortion in this state, period. With that being said, there's a human aspect of it. A young gal that's even thinking about this. Maybe she's definitely in a deep, dark place. Maybe she doesn't have family to lean on. Maybe she doesn't have a friend to lean on. That's where you and I come in. We say, you know what? We got you. We'll help you. We put our arms around her, and we help her through this. And at the end of the day, if she does not want that child, we're not going to make her feel bad, because there'll be 10,000 great parents that'll line up to happily take that baby. Happily. Also, we need to defund abortion, and in this state, we need to fund adoption. Why in the world do you have to hawk the farm to adopt a child? We have many parents that are going to Korea, China, to adopt children. Why? Because it's cheaper. I've heard estimates of $10,000 to $60,000 to adopt a child in this state. Why? It shouldn't be. We got many children lost in the system. And folks, we're spending this money anyway. If we can supply these lost children with families that they'll have a good upbringing, they'll have a foundation built just like me. Guess what? Then they won't be in the streets rioting, looting, tearing up when they're in their 20s. Then we won't be spending the money up here in the judicial system and in the prison system. So let's take the money from here after the problem has already arose. Let's spend the money down here at the root cause. And let's get these children good, permanent parents. It's their right and they deserve it. So, folks, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm nothing fancy. I don't speak like a politician, and I'll fight tooth and nail. I'll give everything that God give me to fight for you, your rights, your children, your grandchildren. And I can't do this alone. We need you. We need your voice. We need you to donate. This is a group effort. They cannot silence us if we all get involved, I promise you. We have a big campaign, a movement going on all across this state. We see signs from the Ohio River to Lake Erie, from Columbiana County over to Darke County, and everywhere in between. My gosh, a few weeks ago, Jane and I was going from East Liverpool down Route 7, down to Marietta. We saw signs in places where I haven't even spoke within 100 miles of those locations. So that's telling me the movement that's going on. But it takes all you. So please get involved. Please. It's dire. We need you. Make sure you're educating people. Tell them about Blystone. Tell them what we stand for and tell them that we'll fight for them. So, thank you, folks. I appreciate you, and God bless you.